Hello, I'm Creature Hunt Guy, and welcome back to another Godzilla review, a movie review. So let's get this going. Welcome to the Creature Hunt Show. I am, of course, your host, Creature Hunt Guy, and today we'll be looking at a movie, Friday the 13th. Well, let me tell you, Friday the 13th was a new horror film that came out 2 years after Halloween, which basically began the whole slasher film thing. And this was the year 1980, of course. 4 years, about approximately 4 years before A Nightmare on Elm Street came out. And it basically defined the milking it for all it's worth phrase, because every year, consecutively every year afterwards, there would be a new sequel, basically. But this is part one, just part one, not the whole series, because, well, I haven't seen them all, but this is part one, which lots of people would be surprised to know that this doesn't have anything to do with Jason Voorhees. Well, okay, fine, it does, it kind of does, but he's not really in this movie. Well, okay, he is, but he doesn't really have much to do in this movie. In fact, well, let me just start from the beginning. So basically it starts off with a bunch of teenagers who are mainly nobodies except for one, Kevin Bacon, which was unusual. And, well, basically what happens is they go to a place called Camp Crystal Lake, which about 30 years ago, a few deaths happened, and ever since then there were fires. I don't know. But anyway, they were all scared because, some people died sometime along, 3 decades ago. Oh my gosh, we're gonna die too. But anyway, it's this camp leader that wants to get the whole thing moving again and, put it back together and stuff. And so he has these camp counselors, which, I've never been to a summer camp sort of thing before, so I don't know what camp counselors are really like, but I have a feeling that they do not do the kind of things that these kids do when they're by themselves. So anyway, of course, deaths ensue, and by the end of the movie, exactly one person is left alive. One person, exactly. Which I thought was kind of neat, because the killer let one person get away to tell the story again. But the killer is not Jason Voorhees, and, well, it's a she. It's actually, well, his mother. Yeah, it says your mother. No, seriously. And not only that, but she's played by Betsy Palmer. Who is Betsy Palmer, you may ask? She was in some TV shows at one point, and I guess a few movies. In fact, I'll tell you something about this lady. I know her. Well, okay, I don't know her, but there's someone in between me and her that knows her. My uncle, who lives in New York City, knows Betsy Palmer. Like really. Well, yeah, he does. He does. And he said she was nice. And basically, from looking at her, you couldn't tell at all that she was secretly a serial killer. But no, really, I mean, she's wearing a blue sweater and jeans, and she's just like, yeah, you really just brutally murdered, 8 people. I really can't. No, I am not taking.
You never paid any attention. Look what you did to him. Look what you did to him.
Oh my gosh. So yes, that's basically the story of it. And like I said, Jason Voorhees doesn't really put in an appearance in this movie, at all. In fact, at the end, well, Mrs. Voorhees gets and basically that's it. If you're looking to see how Jason got started with his hockey mask and all that stuff, none of that is even in here. Not even mentioned, really. Basically, Jason is a little boy that dies, and his mother seeks revenge for him. And that's basically all that we're told in this part of it, of course. Now, the consecutive movies do, elaborate on that whole idea, and maybe I'll get to them later. But for now, this is the Friday the 13th, and this is basically all there is to it. So what do I think of this movie? Well, now, let it be said that I have nothing against Jason himself. I'm sure he's a perfectly fine serial killer. I'm just saying that this movie in particular, in which Jason really didn't even appear, was kind of slow, and it had a bit of time getting started. And I suppose back then it was a lot of suspense because the murder scenes were somewhat few and far between, and when they happened, they were quite brutal for back then, I suppose. But nowadays, it just seems a bit slow. And you can tell the quality isn't absolutely up to snuff on the movie either, so I gotta say it wasn't the best. I'm saying it's somewhere in between. I'm gonna say it's somewhere in between A Nightmare on Elm Street and Gamera. Can I say that?
You're full of crap.
Well, I'm gonna say it anyway because I like to live dangerously. But like I said, this has really nothing about Jason in it at all, except that his mother goes around killing people, which, admittedly, is kind of neat, I guess. I mean, it's neat to see this old lady go 412 on people, so I mean, I guess it's so cool. And it's kind of like the opposite of Psycho. It's like she has a very unhealthy obsession with her son, whereas the son had a very unhealthy obsession with his mother. I wonder if the director ever watched Psycho. Do you know? So that's pretty much it. Friday the 13th, Part 1. As I said, I may be getting onto the other parts sometime in the future, but as for now, I'm just going to leave it at that. And so, why don't you check it out if you got some spare time, but I really wouldn't make it a priority for myself because it didn't really get going that much, and it's more just banter between the teenagers, which admittedly is kind of funny at times. And it's weird to see Kevin Bacon get, well, killed, which is kind of gratifying. But anyway, yeah, so, that's it, and that's pretty much all there is to it. I am Creature Hunt Guy. That was Friday the 13th, Part 1, and, well, I'll see you later.